We're Voice Actors is a monthly podcast featuring myself, Ben Starr, and usually Erika Ishii and Abubakar Salim. But this month's episode features, I guess, a regular guest at this point. Nick, who plays Leon in the Resident Evil series, among many other things. Though I will note that this episode does not contain spoilers for Resident Evil 9, outside of a reference to one mid-game boss fight. This show exists purely because of the support of our Patreon supporters, who are the reason that we can talk about whatever random topic we want and don't have to worry about chasing headlines, which is a huge luxury on YouTube, but it's also the reason that I can pay my editor and my artist. Patrons also got an extra, 12 minutes of this particular episode, and they got it early, and they're also invited to submit guest requests and questions for future episodes. But whether you support the show on Patreon or not, we appreciate you being here, and we hope you enjoy the episode.
Excellent, we're doing it. You were saying?
I was saying that in Requiem, I got to come up with a lot of lines, and they use some, they don't use some, but the one that they did not freaking use is the one, oh, hi, Banjo.
Here's Banjo.
The one that they didn't use would have been my favorite.
He's saying hi, Banjo, because they went, that has nothing to do with the game.
He's not even in the game.
There's nothing to do with it.
Hey, Banjo. Was when you fight the spider, I wanted to say, and we recorded it, you know, you've been a real itsy bitsy pain in my ass.
That's so good.
Yeah.
It would have been a banger.
Good.
Are there any other lines? Any other lines that you want to say that you could have done, but you didn't?
Off the top of my head, we recorded quite a bit. I forgot. My brain is just a little bit in a whirlwind.
Did you ever say the title of the game? Did they ever make you go, this is your Resident Evil?
Requiem.
I don't think so.
9.
Do you want to say it now for us?
You can if you like.
This is your Resident Evil. Cookie dough.
I feel like he must be such a fun, because you got to do a similar kind of voice with Clive, Ben, where I feel like just getting to do the sexy husky man must be really fun.
I like it.
It seems
because my normal voice is not husky. But how did you find it, Nick? Because obviously you're like,
but you are a husky, sexy man, Ben. I'm more of like a SpongeBob dork. And so I get to play out a fantasy, something that I'm not. And so, yeah, that's fun, but it's challenging. I mean, you kind of go into these roles, Ben, right? Like knowing how people are going to take them, how the fans are going to take them, receive, because the way they're written, the way they look. Mm-hmm. It's just almost like an expected thing. So there's a bit of a responsibility there.
Ooh, it's like sexy pressure.
It is sexy pressure.
Interesting.
It's so hard.
It's hard to be an actor. It's a tough job.
So hard.
What if you live with them sexy enough? Shit.
Well, you gotta live within the realm too, and have that. You gotta have some aura. You gotta have some that kind of charisma. And you're not gonna go up there and be like, "Oh my god, it's a zombie!" That's the type of character, but it's not Leon. It's not Clive.
Jeepers. Yeah, it's really. It's a really fun thing to have when you're getting to play a sexy character. I recently at Summer Game Fest, I was kind of unveiled in Fortnite as this character called Geno. And even Geno is so fuckable. His face is like,
with this cap.
Geno, I shoot Troy Baker in the back at the end of the most recent.
Nothing sexier.
Nothing sexier than shooting your boy Troy.
Oh yeah, he is hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He takes the helmet off and I'm like, this guy's an absolute, to quote Lux Max's, a Chad. He's I love it. I love it when you get this, because I like the sexy artwork.
And does it also feel like a compliment where it's like, oh, me for that? Because Malevola is sexy and has much sexy artwork.
Hot.
It's very attractive, but not sexy in character. Which, whenever people ask me what kind of acting that I would like to do, that I would always say that that's one that I would like to do, because I make myself very asexual on the internet, personality-wise, and I think I would find it very fun to get to do it in acting. But yeah, Malevola's not personality sexy; she just looks sexy.
I feel that when you have a character that looks the way that your characters do, it's kind of like, why do people love Leon, right? Because they love putting him in cat ears and tying him up and make him look like a little kind of, they like almost desexualizing him, but also sexualizing him in that way of making him very cutesy.
Is he baby girl?
He is baby
girl? He used to be. He used to be baby girl. Now he's hot onk.
Now he's a hot
He's
onk.
daddy now.
Hot zaddy.
Yeah. Zaddy. Okay. Yeah. I'm glad we got to the bottom of that.
Yeah.
The people wanted to know.
I want to see you play a role like Jabba the Hutt, Ben. Something like that, like some grotesque creature.
You'd still want to fuck
I
him.
know you can pull it off.
You'd make him fuckable.
I'd make him fuckable. I'd be like, guys, not enough of this. Enough of this.
I already
hutties.
do,
Let's just- Yeah.
always been a big fan of Jabba, so he is actually
Yeah.
my favorite Star Wars character.
Really? How did you feel? I haven't seen it, but the Mandalorian and Grogu, how did you feel about Jeremy Allen White playing Rotter the Hutt?
I didn't even know that happened.
It's one
Yes.
of my favorite memes of the past 6 months.
Wow.
It's like, yeah,
Is it
Jeremy Allen White is Rotter the Hutt. Like, what's the point?
Great.
Good for him.
Also, sorry, I should say General Grievous is technically number 1. I would put Jabba as number 2.
Grievous should get it.
Yeah. I felt I relate to Grievous a lot because of the coughing as an asthmatic.
Here's a fun thing, and Nick, I'm sure you're aware of this. This show has no plot. What if we were to go like our 5 video game crushes that like shouldn't be crushes in video games?
You mean hear me out?
Very hear me out.
Okay, so
Wait, that should not be crushes.
So
Well, it's up to you.
a
It's
hear
up to
me
you.
out is something that it's like, you know that you kind of have to explain it.
Go with
Yeah.
me on this.
Yes. So my number
sorry,
1 is the
Yeah.
Pokemon God of War.
Okay.
Hear me out. Let me just give
me
you a
out.
little.
Mhm.
She could get it, and I think once you see it, you're like, she knows what she's doing.
Would she want to get it?
I'd have to ask God of War. You can't put me on the spot with that.
Can I just say?
don't
Can I say
presume-
for the purposes of this show, they're very into it.
Oh,
They're
they all
already in
consent.
the club. Their keys are already in a bowl.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Then yes,
Which is
Okay.
I've just sent you a link to God of War so you can see.
yeah. I'm
That's
gonna click
my-
on
that's
that.
what my
Oh
go-
my god.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying God of War with your accent.
Everyone
We-
thinks that. Yeah, no. God
God
of
of War.
War.
God of War. Okay,
Wow.
got you.
Yeah, she
okay,
can get
okay.
it.
I'm gonna start with my first one, and really hear me out. And I think you guys might know why. Toad from Mario 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Toad.
Okay. Mario 2
Toad.
specifically.
Mario 2 on
All right, so what's the
Nintendo.
difference in-
So the
what's the
sprite.
difference between Toad.
Purple
was my-
sprite.
Toad was my boy. He was the fastest one. He could jump high. And I just always wanted to be his little buddy. And now, well, I guess this is like
Now you want to
one of
fuck. Now you want to fuck him.
I feel like the open shirt is kind of slutty. Like, I think that Toad
so
knows
good.
what
High
Toad's
waist
doing.
as well.
Yeah, the high waist open shirt combo, just so all you see is nips. Like, I think there's a choice being made there.
Hear me out. That's all. All right, Ben, you're up.
I know, and I've said this, and I really actually have no idea. So I'm kind of going through my brain. I've set this whole thing up. So please, someone stall and give me your second. Advice.
Well, look, my go-to is always Geralt, and I know that's not really a hear me out because Geralt's
That's the
sexy.
most least hear me
I
out you've ever had in
know,
your life.
but my reason for it is extremely autistic, which is I really like that you can't get diseases from Geralt, nor can you get
Yeah.
pregnant from Geralt. Can't carry
So that's
disease.
a very pragmatic. It's
Exactly.
a very pragmatic answer.
And considering the time and how rife the world was with disease, I think that
Yeah.
like Geralt is a dream.
I think a lot of people would agree with you, though.
It's
Do
true.
you think
it's
Geralt
not-
would smell?
Yes.
I think about this a lot. I think a lot of like, I know
Like
there's
what?
obviously he bathes and stuff, and that's very important. But like fantasy games,
Yeah.
Musk.
they are
Musk.
the leather, the smell, the brushing of the teeth. Like, do they like they must have bad morning breath? I do worry.
You do what he's worried.
I do worry. I think about it a lot. I see a lot of people just like kissing and stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm like, when did they last brush their teeth?
I've always felt
You do think about that. They used to eat mint leaves back then because they didn't have like Crest toothpaste or Colgate. They used to eat mint to hide
that
it.
almost seems better. I've always thought that Bloodborne would smell especially terrible. I think that's the stinkiest video game.
Yeah, and the kind of worst aspect of it is you just know that they've already filling the air with like incense and stuff that kind of cover it up. So
Which
there's
is
a lot of
worse.
musk on musk. You know.
Yeah. Perfume on shit is almost worse than just shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've remembered.
Okay, go ahead.
Rivet from Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, voiced.
Okay. Rift apart.
I mean, she's not, but she's hot. She's hot. She's voiced by Jennifer Hale. I think it's Jennifer Hale's voice that does it for me in it.
Okay.
I don't think she's a hear me out either. I think she's just hot.
Just hot. Is this just stuff we want to get with?
So how long you got?
It's not like a hear me out. It's just like, you know what?
It's
It's
just,
definitely pleasing people.
I'd fuck that weird cat. What are they called? There's a name for the species.
What the species are? I'm
Yeah.
sure someone in the comments can tell us.
No other way to find out.
I don't think we have access to any
No
of
other way
the
to know.
things to tell us.
There's something. Oh, there's one of her. There's art of her in a bikini. I guess it's a swimsuit. Yeah,
I've got a question for you, Nick.
Smash.
This is a really good question.
Yeah.
Really hot. Because obviously the thing about Resident Evil Requiem is they're kind of semi-conscious. These zombies are like living their life.
I love that
a little
about
bit.
it. It's so good.
They're like back still really hot, really, really hot zombie, boy or girl, doesn't matter. They're missing but their whole thing is like they want to get it on. They don't want to injure you. They just want to get it on with you. But they've got a bit of flesh like hanging off, you know. Would you?
It's so earnest when you ask this.
It's very sincere.
Look, sometimes you do things for the story, and
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like how many opportunities would you get to do this?
You do it for the plot.
Yeah. You
So
would
maybe
do it.
the singing zombie.
Yeah.
She would. I love the little cult following she's gotten.
She does the
thrilled
cult
for-
following.
Does
I'm
she?
really pleased for her.
I'm not
Yeah.
online anymore. I'm very offline. So I miss memes. I
Oh,
don't know
you
what
love online at the moment. It's great.
been off for a minute. And so I just don't know what's happening in the world anymore.
It's good. That's a good thing. Alana.
I feel great about it, to be honest. I replaced it with
bet
playing
you-
chess and reading books, and it's great.
I bet
but
your
it does
energy
mean
levels up.
the world is not like someone the other day. I had an interview and someone was like, "Man, it was so nice to talk to you. You're just so positive." And I was like, I think that's because I don't go on the internet anymore. Really?
Yeah.
I stopped doom scrolling in the morning. I go get fresh air, get some vitamin D.
Yeah, dude.
6 a.m.
Yeah.
and it changes things.
What do you do in the
6 a.m.
vitamin D? Do you just like out in the
Bask.
sun, like you like that?
I run.
Of course you do. Shut
I
up,
do.
God.
Oh my God. Oh, I do exercise and eat well.
Guys, I'm 42, and if I want to keep eating cookie dough, I got to run.
I do find you very aspirational, Nick, and that you eat like every time that I've seen you, you eat like a goblin, but you're still ripped. And I think that like sometimes people think you can't do both.
Ripped goblin.
Yeah.
I'm not ripped anymore. I had to get
Wasn't that
all new
long ago?
pants. I had to get all new pants this year because my waist
Because my
waist
penis
got a
was
little
too big. My penis grew.
Happens when you turn 40 notoriously.
Yeah, your penis
Dick,
is
dick got too
massive.
big for my pants.
Yeah.
So,
Not only did Leon just blow the fuck up, like you've got a massive dick now, and that's
Yeah.
a real burden. You're
Yeah.
carrying
It's
that
been
around.
hard.
They're worse things, guys.
And he builds stuff too. Did you build that whatever's behind you there, Nick?
No, I did not, but I'm looking at a few things that I built.
My big dick.
Built
that huge
built my
dick.
kitchen table over there, built my coffee table, built my bar over there. Maybe one day I'll have you guys over, have a little barbecue. It's
very
see
cool.
some of my woodwork.
Is that an
That's
Oreo
fun.
cookie next to you also?
Yeah, it's my Oreo pillow. I have 2 of them.
Incredible. On brand. Lovely. I love that for you.
Whoa. You love Oreos?
Big Oreo
Oh
guy.
man, I love Oreos. I get a lot of gifts from Oreo and stuff, and so
Oh,
I eat
you
a
got
lot.
on the list?
No, not like that. Trying to get a sponsor, trying to get a collaboration going with Resident
That'd be
Evil,
sick.
and have the release the O virus edition of Oreo, and I think that would be fucking brilliant.
Genius.
They watch
But no, I
this
just,
show.
I just like
Oreo
cookies.
loves this show.
They love this show. Oreo, like
They
they've
won't
been
stop
like,
sending us
we wanna
cookies.
yeah, they're like sponsors.
Nabisco, are you listening?
Pitch it
pitch
it now. Hey Oreo.
I just love the cookie, and I think it's the most perfect balanced cookie. And during the pandemic, I probably told Alana many times, I ate about 1,400 to 1,500 Oreos during the pandemic, and I would just eat them at like 10 a.m. And then all my fans, when I was streaming back then, they saw me eating Oreos all the time, and now they bring me Oreo bags and bags and bags of Oreos at conventions, and I pass them out to everybody. And so I've become
Oh,
the
you're an
unofficial
Oreo dealer.
guy.
That's great. Do you dunk them in tea though?
No, I just
You're not a tea guy.
I'm a tea guy. I don't dunk them in tea. Is that an Australian thing?
Oh, it's
Cookies
so
and tea?
good. If
think
you
it's
have
a-
your
but-
tea, which like just excuse my
No,
mom,
but-
but you gotta have your
in
tea
but in oh nice, I like
because
that.
I'm a
But
libertarian now. Since
but-
I've been offline, I became a libertarian. Anyway,
Oreos and tea, I could see a
Yeah.
Chips Ahoy, like a chocolate
Dunk a
chip
biscuit.
so good.
biscuit.
In there.
It's so good.
You can
I
dunk
can-
anything in tea, Nick.
But Oreos though, no, listen, guys, no, seriously, I make the best cookies and cream, ice cream, with Oreos and McConnell's brand. If you ever have it, it'll blow your mind. One day I really look
You
forward
make
to
your
sharing that
own
with you.
cookies and cream ice cream?
Yes, and I take it to parties, and when people have it, they're like, "Where the hell did you get this?" And I kind of just wink, and I'm like, "Don't worry about it."
I've never been more impressed by anyone.
I also have a question. Do you need to wink before you say "don't worry about it"? Is that an essential thing?
I
Don't
just
worry
keep the
about it.
mystery going.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm saying is I get so many compliments on this. They think I handmade it. I kind of handcrafted it, but I didn't make the ingredients. But I make it with Oreos, and it's fantastic. One day.
It's my
Why
favorite
are
ice
you
cream.
so creative? You're a very creative man. Where did
I like
this
to
come from?
customize. I like to customize everything in my life, and so that's why I don't like to. If I don't have to buy something, I don't want to buy it. I want to create it. I want it to come out of Nick. You know what I mean? That's why it's small furniture and stuff. I know I can build it. Why buy it? Because I'll be the only one that has it. My wallet made that with leather. I'm the only one that has it. I don't know. Something about. That's how I express my individuality. Is I use my hands to build stuff because I know I can. And if I don't know how, I'll figure it out.
From what I know of you, like you could potentially take it that someone is especially interested in being an individual out of a place of ego. And I do not believe that that is true for you at all. I actually think you may have misplaced your reason for enjoying that, which is crazy for me to say to someone who doesn't know you that well. I think that I don't know that you do it because you like the individuality. I suspect that you like the process. I feel like
I like
you
a
are
challenge.
Yeah.
So this is when I envision something, I say I want to build something like that, and I don't know how to do it. I'm going to figure it out, and I might make many mistakes. I started working with epoxy,
Cool.
making like river tables, and during the
I've been wanting
pandemic,
to do that for ages.
and I made a lot of mistakes and expensive mistakes. But I'm like, okay, this is a fucking challenge, and I'm gonna learn how to do it, and I'm gonna get it right. And when I can think about something and then make it a reality, that to me, I sit back and I'm like, all right, that was fucking cool. You know, like
Learning is
I
my
just
favorite thing about being alive. I love to learn, and I totally you're
tedious-
just doing it very
I like-
physically.
I like tedious challenges, and I'm very industrious. And so when you put those two together, I make things. You know,
Ben, do you have a version of that? What makes you tick?
what does make you tick, Ben? I've always wanted that.
Oh, well, that's a good question. I don't think I need to be an actor, you know. I think, and I mean that in that, like, I just like being creative. I just feel like acting is the thing that happens to have been the way that I make money being creative. I think about it a lot, and what makes me tick is making stuff, but I'm not a maker of wood or whatever. Like, I don't do stuff with my hands. I do stuff with my brain. And I really love coming up with new shit. Like, when I was a kid, I always used to make stop motion videos with my phone.
Cool.
And stuff. And I've got, like, on my old, like, Nokia 3310 or whatever, I've got these old, the one that first had cameras on it or something, this old thing. Not 3310, that's fucking bullshit, but there were no cameras on that.
Can't believe you would lie to us like that, but
It's just a straight up lie.
disgusting.
I hate myself.
You should.
I'll dunk myself in tea as a punishment.
Well,
and then you can
yeah,
suck
good.
me dry, Nick. I was improving. I'm a creative guy. Listen, I make mistakes, right? You should
He
see me
learns
with a
from
foxy
them.
resin.
He
Yeah.
learns from them.
I would love to. So like, I found myself acting, right? But in this industry and adjacent to it, I find myself doing so many other kind of creative things, and that's what makes me happy. Like, I write, or I do kind of things on the side that kind of keep my brain ticking over. I can't just kind of sit still. I'm not a very stationary individual. So that's how I've kind of cursed myself, in that, like, my career is the thing that I love doing, being creative, but it also means that a lot of things that I do are adjacent to that. So, like, my creative stuff, whether it's writing or creating or like doing silly videos or things like that.
I didn't know you liked writing.
Love it.
A lot of people hate writing.
I went through a stage when I was doing this TV show that I was optioned for 3 years on it, and I just couldn't. And I kind of hated it a little bit. I mean, I loved the show, I loved the people, but I hated the option, which meant that I couldn't really do anything else on the side. So I started writing TV shows. So I started writing screenplays, and
Cool.
I've written loads of them, and then I got to know some production companies pretty well, and I used to write spec scripts for them and pitch documents.
No way, I had no idea. Very cool.
Yeah, and I don't do it as much anymore. Like getting a little bit real. When after my dad passed away, I found it really, really hard to have that motivation. A lot of things in my life shifted, and then kind of my career in video games took off, and that took up a load of my time. And I needed to find the inspiration. Like I was this very, very prolific ideas person, so I'd come up with like high concepts for shows and things. Well, the first show I ever came up with is a show that I'm really proud of, and I've written it down. It's called Bookends, and it's about a guy who on his 11th birthday was inexplicably sent to the future to spend a week with his 30-year-old self. And then that kid, that 11-year-old kid, is now grown up, and he has to spend that week with his 30-year-old self.
Cute.
No, his 11-year-old self, sorry. But what he doesn't say, and he's kind of like packed up his entire life, is the fact that on that week when he was 11, he was a witness to and responsible for his own death at the age of 30. So it's kind of a bit like Le Jetée. It's kind of got that same sort of
That's crazy.
like
That's
cyclical thing. But it was just like very kind of like buddy cop kind of comedy between the versions of yourself, and about the idea of like succumbing to the nature and the cycle of death and reality, and knowing what you know. And I'd write a lot of kind of like silly things like that. And that was the show that got me loads of other shows that I'd end up writing. Like it never ended up getting made. It nearly got made at the BBC. And then it just kind of like went from there. But I don't really talk about it that much, because it's not like the way that I present myself, right? I want to be very focused in saying like, I'm Ben Starr, the actor, I do video games and stuff like that. I also set up a production company in 2019 with amazing actor Jason Fleming and Lucinda Sison, who cast like The Dark Knight and Wonder Woman and stuff, and Cristiano D'Urso, who's a financial controller on, you know, Narnia and Project Hail Mary and stuff. And we have this production company, but we're so busy, we can't really do anything with it.
Let me ask you this. Everything you just said is news to me.
Same.
I just learned that, which is, but it makes sense. Everything you just said makes sense, because I see little bits of all those talents like in the current Ben Starr that you present, right?
Yeah.
And Ben Starr that I know. Do you see yourself getting back to that? I mean, we have a lot of time.
Just not now, you know. And I'm actually writing a show. I'm actually writing a show with a friend of mine right now, Chris York, who played Gav in Final Fantasy 16. He's an amazing writer. He writes a lot of stuff for stage in the UK. And I had this idea for this show for a really long time. I didn't have it in me to write it because I was so busy and stressed that so I've kind of been co-writing it with him. And it's been nice to get back into it. But I was prolific. I wrote so many scripts and so many things. I have all these things just like sitting there. And these like extensive pitch decks of these shows. And the show that broke me was a show which I called Muck. And it was about like, this producer came to me, and he produced loads of stuff for British TV. And he was like, I want to do this kind of like really big in the UK with these rural kind of thriller drama sort of style things. And I came up with a show called Muck, which was about a family that were essentially heroin dealers back in this small backwater town and stuff. And then it's like how the fact that like these European drug lords kind of come in and try and take over this kind of like crazy town that's entirely built off heroin. And I loved it.
And that show became Breaking Bad.
It became well, it was this plot of Ozark in the end, right? Like it was essentially what Ozark was. And I kind of
great show, by the way,
an amazing show. And I was like, I don't like it. I don't like this. I don't think it's very good. And I kept trying to make it good, and I can't make it good because it's just been done better in Ozark. And you're trying to change it and be like, we could do other drugs. And I'm like, it just felt like I was being really, really iterative, and it didn't feel like it was coming from me. It felt like I was trying to put a bandage over something.
That's the thing that, sorry to cut you off, that Corey really instilled in us working at Santa Monica Studio to the writers team, was that I had this habit of being like, well, this game did that, so we shouldn't do that. That's already in this game. And he was very strict about being like, who fucking cares? If you go, this game did that, when you're approaching writing or anything creative really in general, you will box yourself into having absolutely nothing. What matters is why we do it. It doesn't matter that someone else also did it.
Yeah. I had this really and this is kind of inside baseball. I've never really spoken about this, but during the pandemic, I had a show at this. I was co-proing it with this company, and we called it Something Happened at Lily Point. And this was 2020, and we were pitching it to Apple. I remember doing a meeting with Apple. I remember doing a meeting with Netflix, about this show, and we had the whole kind of like package together. We had the writer, and it was going to be a musical about this woman that essentially goes on this killing spree in this small little town, and it was going to star a singer in the UK called Paloma Faith.
I think I know that name.
She's kind of a national treasure in the UK. And we had this idea for this show, which I loved, and it was about this ambulance driver who essentially has a psychotic break, which is also this euphoric moment of understanding. And she basically goes around basically planning the murders of all of these people who've done wrong, and it's like all these little murders happen in these kind of insignificant ways, and these people try and piece it together. It's why something happened at Lily Point. You can't really pin it together, and this kind of like mastermind that she becomes. That show has now been done, right? That show now exists. Musicals are kind of more prolific than ever. The idea of like women becoming empowered and then kind of trying to take back, like that plot has already happened and been told.
Everything
we were told by Netflix, which is so fucking brutal. They went, we have the stats, right? As soon as people start singing, people turn off. They went, and that's crazy. Netflix just went, we have the algorithm. We know what happens. And it was like, you can't, like, it's not what we're interested in. We're not interested in musicals. And then Apple were like, well, actually, we've just got a show from Sharon Horgan that ended up being Bad Sisters. And they went, we can't have it. And so it was really interesting how, what happened at that point, because they went, this is too similar. And in TV, I feel like it's so restrictive. If you don't have that kind of creative freedom to work, and you're pitching to people from the outside, there's so many no's because this, like my show Bookends was going to go at the BBC, and then someone went, oh, sorry, we've already just picked up a time travel show, so we can't. That time travel show never got made.
That's why I don't have any interest in TV. It's so difficult.
Same.
Difficult.
It's like right place, right time on steroids.
Totally. Yeah, it's brutal.
It's crazy.
Tough.
Ben, I didn't know you had that big of a background with all that stuff.
Neither. That's interesting. But I also think you're right to focus on how you market yourself. It's a thing, actually, side note that I really want to ask the two of you specifically about. So I just got an agent. So I'm auditioning for the first time and loving it. I'm finding it so fun. A lot of people hate auditioning, I guess. I love getting my little synopsis and my little Japanese character reference and being like, fuck yeah, I'm going to spend 30 minutes making a character, and then I'm going to do this, and then I just delete it when it's gone, and I'm finding it so fun. Really enjoying it.
It is fun.
The thing that I need help with is I keep feeling this need to do the video game thing where video game characters are really breathy. And it feels like I keep being like, well, the Japanese reference kind of sounded like that, so maybe I should do this breathy version of this video game acting. But then it feels like I'm almost making a parody. But if I don't do it, it feels like I'm not acting. What I mean by that is like, who's not Wesker in RE9?
Zeno.
Yes. The voice he's doing is so fun to listen to, but so specifically video gaming. You know what I mean? Like, it's very like, I don't know how to
it's deep and resonant, and
it's just there's like this like reverberation on the end of it that I feel like is so specific to video games that I keep being like, do I need to be doing that? Is that a thing? Are people looking for this? And sometimes when I'll look at there was one that I got yesterday, the character reference was from another video game, and when I looked up that character in that video game, it's the same thing. She's really breathy. It's like very like, how? You know, that's like a weird example, but like, how are you? And it's so like, do I need to be doing this?
Well, if you're questioning yourself, you can always give them two takes. You could do one that you think is a little bit wrong, a little bit too video gaming, then do one for yourself. Show a range. Even if the range is wrong. I've never considered
doing that in an audition.
Even if the range is wrong and the second choice is wrong, it's still a range. And they could be like, okay, well, you know, she can do the video game stuff, but she also has some other ideas, and we can probably direct her for a callback. You can do that if you want.
Never even considered doing two unless I'm doing multiple accents and they request it. Then I'll do multiple.
I mean, no, you can tweak things. I mean, you don't have to do two takes, but if you do two takes, make sure they're very different.
Yeah, that makes sense. Don't waste people's time.
You know what I mean? Don't tweak the inflections 5%. Tweak them, 40, 50%.
I think it's a very interesting point you've raised, Alana. I mean, you're speaking to, personally, from my perspective, a guy who was constantly accused of being too breathy in the games that he's in. So I'm like, it works for me. But I don't
think that you do that.
No, but people want to level of criticism. Like he just.
I guess also I should be clear that it's not even necessarily a criticism. It's just a thing video games do.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It is part of the medium. Like
Yeah.
also, each game is different. It's like saying that. Oh my god, I think Restoration Theatre is too big. You go, well, that's the medium that you're a part of. Like that's actually what you're meant to do. It doesn't feel realistic, and so some people want to give like heavy realism, and I've heard heavy realism in a game and it's bad. So actually, each game varies. Like I would have to change my style of performance for the style of character that would be in a Resident Evil game, for instance. Not that I would have to differ it massively, but I have to understand the context of what that reality is. Otherwise, it would just stand out. And I do think it's a case-by-case basis. And sometimes, because there's so much secrecy, you're kind of pissing into the wind. I think
the one that I keep getting the most auditions for, I've had the same, they requested me, the same for big-ass AAA game. And I've done 4, I think, different characters. And I have to do another one. And their sides really specifically say, we want realistic, grounded performances.
You'll see that everywhere all the time.
I'm like, what do you mean by that? Like, what is realistic, grounded performance? Isn't that just what acting is?
They mean
not full anime.
They mean not full anime, yeah. They mean, because I think you'd be amazed, actually, at... I apologize. I'm saying something. I think you'd be amazed at how bad a lot of actors are. You really are in the top % of actors. Because I hear actors that are like professional voice actors, and I hear they're real, and I go, that is, by all standards, objectively bad. They're like, why am I not getting work? I'm like, because what you think in your head is good, and what is good is not good. And
okay, so what's good? Because I don't think I'm particularly good, but I think I'm getting better, and I am learning.
Yeah, and sometimes you can be bad. Like I have been really, really bad in many of my early auditions because it's just figuring out what you're good at. I think a lot of people want to overstretch themselves. I think a lot of people want to be like, I want to do this type of voice. I'm like, well, you can't. You're actually not very good at it. You might actually be better at a particular thing that you haven't explored yet. You kind of need to find where your center is, I think. And a lot of people think their center is, if you've watched 1,000 episodes of One Piece, they're like, I think it exists in One Piece. And like, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it actually is in something else. You just haven't explored that because you see that as a desirable thing. And what you're capable of and actually what you want might actually be at odds with each other. And that only comes through just the act of doing more and more and more and more. And I think this is, again, I am going to say this is a critique. I think this isn't true of everyone, but I have experienced a lot of people thinking that acting in video games is a shortcut. Like, I've got a microphone. I'm just going to try some stuff. I'm like, you have to keep trying. You have to keep doing it again and again and again and again and again. I'm not a good actor. I'm a good actor because I have an innate skill for performance, but I'm a professional actor because I have put thousands of fucking hours into my craft. And that's just the difference of going like, you can be good, but to be professional, to get to the very, very top of your profession, you just have to grind away at it. And there are going to be some people like, I just kind of lucked into it. And I'm like, great, you will be the exception to the rule. But the rule is really, my story is one of graft.
I lucked into it, to be clear. But I am trying to put the time in now.
But I don't think you did. I really don't think
did.
you did. You might not have focused your craft in the way that you think you have, but your craft is at a point where you understand and you're continuing to learn, because I think it's a fallacy that we stop learning. I continue to learn what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And some projects, at this point, I'm very lucky. I get lots of offers through for stuff. And then sometimes I don't, and I audition. I go, wow, I'm a fucking shit actor. That's terrible. I'm not good.
Off your own audition, or just because like you're not hearing back?
No, I'm just not good at it. You just come out of the session, you're like, oh well, I suppose I'll just go and kill myself. So that makes them the fucking worst. The pressure for me in a session is really high. I put far too much pressure on myself to be good in a session.
Sure.
If I haven't fucking wowed people, then I'm like, well, you're a loser then, man. But so if someone goes, thanks, I'm like, was I good? But I think you still need to know that you're getting better and learning more and more and more. And I don't know, I maybe I'm going off on a tangent about it, but I really think there is a huge amount of merit in the trying, the learning, and the failing. And I can't tell you how that works because my story is so fucking different from anyone else.
Sure.
Everyone's different.
Every journey is different.
Yeah, and it's really hard for me to give advice to people because my advice is
I think you give great advice, Ben. I've asked you for advice on the show many times, and I think you give great advice. And I think that actually the fact that you recognize that your advice is subjective is extremely valuable, because fully personalized advice and this kind of thing is worthless. But if I'm asking the question, which I have asked and you have answered, do I go breathy? Your answer is look at the franchise or look at the game. I think that's great advice, because I keep being like, I feel silly doing it. And I think that's actually a struggle that I'm having as I'm acting more in general, is I have a lot of trouble not feeling silly. And I think that that's maybe a thing that a lot of acting schools, you know how like a lot of schools will make you do the thing where you like pretend to be a lion. I was like, are those drills things like that in part to get that fear of silliness out of you? Because it's only been happening to me more recently where I'm like, this feels so stupid, because my preference for learning is reading. So I'm reading a lot about acting, and I have a coach that I've hired, but I'm not like going to in-group classes. So I'm not getting exposed to the silly thing.
I think they do that to get you out of your head.
Yeah.
To remind yourself that when you're putting yourself on the mic for an audition, that you are no longer ALANAH.
Yeah.
You're trying to play some character, whether it's they go extreme animal or baby, toddler. They do that so you kind of drop that ego of like, okay, I'm Nick and I got to present myself this way. Because sometimes you do play, like animation is a good example. You might play a frog, right? And so it's I would say you just said that you kind of like lucked into this. But I think you've been training certain muscles that you don't even realize as a content creator.
Yeah,
you've created thousands of videos. You've developed a skill on the microphone, which a lot of new actors do not have auditioning, because they don't know where to be, where to stand. Like you have that
interesting thing
down,
to say, yeah.
Right? You are a writer. You're a smart person. I've seen your videos. I watch your videos when I eat breakfast sometimes. You're extremely intelligent, and so and as a writer, you understand relationships and people, right? That's all part of acting as well. So you're learning all these skills, not necessarily in a class, but they're like peripheral skills that just feed right into what can help you with acting.
And I do definitely think being a writer helps a ton. I do auditions with a lot of friends who do live action acting, and I do think I'm very good at cold reading, in that I can figure out what a character is supposed to be in a scene quite fast. So I now like direct some of my friends' auditions because it's fun.
That's a huge skill.
That said, I lucked into it in that, I don't know if I've told either of you this, the way that I technically got into acting was that I was a journalist at IGN. I was on a lot of podcasts, and game directors liked the way my voice sound. And eventually, like 2 of them, big games, just was like, do you want a cameo? So my first several actually, I consider cameos rather than acting, because I had no idea what I was doing in any capacity. So I'm trying to fix that now. I keep being offered things, and I don't want to let anyone who's offering me things down. So I'm trying to learn. I'm actively studying acting and trying to get better, and I am really enjoying it. There's so many things that seem so simple that I didn't know. Like, this is the dumbest one that I keep trying to articulate to Rahul, that I'm like, okay, I didn't know that in order to act, you have to just trick yourself really into believing that the thing is real. One of the things that helped me with auditions recently was someone gave this advice, was to, if you're saying something, look at a picture of someone. And perhaps choose a picture of someone you know and consider how you feel about that person rather than just saying the thing. So simple. Incredibly helpful. Like stuff like that is just like, man, that book was really handy with that kind of stuff, where you previously think acting is like you're doing a voice. It's not at all. And like some of this is so basic that I just like had no idea. And I'm like, okay, I have to actually feel a certain way to be able to perform a certain way. And it's just like such basic stuff. And again, the auditioning process, no, totally. You are feeling something, and it almost, there are parts of this where I've been doing some of this and learning some of this. And there's this movie that I'm doing later this year where the performance I have to do is very, very, very difficult. And so I'm trying to really lock in on that. And I keep having this thing where I'm like, why the fuck does anyone enjoy this? How does anyone like acting? And I feel like whenever I say that to an actor, they're like, yeah.
Totally. I read a book early on when I booked my first like big student film back in the day. I had to go through a lot of stuff as the character, like lose my wife and all that stuff, a lot of hard stuff. And I saying to my brother, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't have the experience. And he gave me some advice, but I read this book, and one line changed my whole approach to acting, especially on camera. It doesn't translate as well to voiceover, but it does help. And the line was, take the time to cross the bridge between stimulus and reaction. If that doesn't make sense to you, it's about thought process of your character. And he gave an example, and he said there's a movie Jack Nicholson did in the 70s where his character was told that his wife just got killed in a horrific car accident. And Jack Nicholson did not say his next line for 30 something seconds. That changed everything for me, is that if your character is thinking the right thing, your body language, your delivery, your cadence, everything will act accordingly if you're thinking the right thing. It's subtext. Every line I see, even in audition, I think subtext. What's he really saying? Who's he talking to? And that'll change the way that you deliver.
Rahul always says, if you think it, they will see it, which I think is true as well. But the movie exactly I'm preparing for is my daughter has to die, and I watch it happen, and it's horrific and awful. And I think my concern is that I'm psyching myself out because I'm so concerned about fucking that scene up that I'm worried that I'm going to get too in my own head about it. And I'm already doing that, though. And we're not even shooting yet. And I'm like, oh my God. And the one thing that I would say I know more of the lines for this movie than I should, considering we don't have a start date.
Great. You'll be fine. You'll be fine then.
Can I say one more thing? This could help you, ALANAH, because I don't know when this is going to happen for you. In that same book, he talks about these scenes. How do you get there to those raw emotion scenes? And he told a story about an actress that he helped, and it's about breathing. So before you go in for those takes, when everything's set up, all the lights are good, and we're good for ALANAH to come in and do this scene, your first 2 takes are going to be the most raw, and sitting in the corner, quiet, everything's quiet, breathing deep, really forcing deep breath, almost not hyperventilating, but just breathe in, out. And what that does is it brings back memories when you were a kid. These subconscious memories that everyone cries. When a kid wants something goes wrong, they cry. They hyperventilate. That's something that's in all of us. We just forget as adults because we have filters. We can shut it off. We can control the emotions. But when you force that breath, it takes your primitive mind back to when you were a kid, and it makes those emotions closer to the surface of your skin,
interesting,
more accessible. And then when they hit, when they say action and you got to do that scene, your emotions are right there. And
the logic being
them.
Adults bury it. And if you can get past how hard you've buried it, they're closer to you.
Breathing does it. Listen to some music that helps you. That's what I do. You don't have to, but I listen to music. I get in the zone. I know what the scene means to everybody, not just me, to the director, to the film, to the project. Listen to that music, hyperventilate a little bit. Ready for action. Boom. Nail it.
Interesting.
Individual stimuli is so interesting. There's an actor I work with called Sean Dooley. He works a lot in the UK, and he does it where he'll buy a perfume for every single character, a different scent. So he'll be like, I get into character by, I'm no longer Sean, I am this character, and he'll bring a different scent for every single character he's ever played.
Wow,
and that's how he differentiates himself. And it's like how some people, the most important thing is the shoes that they wear.
Yes, it was someone on this podcast who told me about shoes, and that is huge.
It's massive.
So helpful.
To translate that into kind of like coming into like video game stuff, it's why I would never sit down in a session ever. Like I might have said it on this show, probably have. I prowl around that fucking studio and that booth like I am a caged animal. And that's not because I'm showing off. It's because I can't really sit still. I've got a lot of energy to get rid of, but also I'm kind of getting rid of the excess energy, trying to focus all the things that I need to do. Like I'm not talkative. I'm not like when I'm working, I'm not a very engaging person. I'm like, we'll engage afterwards. I'm just going to go away.
I think I need to be better about that too. So like, I wouldn't have thought that I was a people pleaser, but I think maybe professionally I can be. And watching Paige, who's the lead of the movie we made, Godmother, on some of her harder scenes, she would sit there with headphones in and not talk to any of us. And I feel like I, as a person, would always be like, can I help anyone? Even if it's crew. I did that on VHS Beyond, where I was like, anyone need anything? Do you need anything from me? Where I think that that's actually more harmful to everyone you think that you're helping because it takes you longer to get in it. And she would just sit there silently, headphones in, like we would almost not even speak to her at all. And she kept describing herself as like she's like a caged animal when she's doing that, and she's like so ready to go that it's like a horse ready to go for a race or whatever. And I think that I don't do that, in that I try to be too nice to the people around me, and I think it's very easy to think actors are being wanky when they're doing that. But especially having watched her, I was like, I totally get it now. Like I completely understand.
You got to find out what works for you. Yeah. However, whatever brings out certain emotions, whatever a scene requires, like that's a you thing. And that took me years and years to figure that out on camera. And now I'm finding ways to translate that into voiceover if I'm in a booth.
There's this scene at the end of Final Fantasy 16. There's a big, very dramatic scene that happens, and it was a 9-minute scene that we had to do, and I remember just being very lucky that I was a couple of years into the process, and I just took control of the session. I went, I'm going to be the one that tells you how we're going to do this, because you are not going to be able to get the best out of me. I'm going to be the one that's going to tell you how you should get the best out of me, because of how I have access to the things I need to have access to in the way that's going to be realistic, because I know that this is going to be one of the most important scenes of the entire game.
I know the scene you're referring to for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's the most important thing. So everyone was kind of freaking out. And I think I might have said this before, but I did it in the first take. And the way we were doing 16 was I was doing head-mounted camera stuff to pre-done mocap that had been done in Japan, and so we had the way HMC stuff often happens is there is a very particular band that you have to get the line into that has been pre-designed. It's a crazy backwards method, but it works, and I got very good at it. And it was 9 minutes of that. Normally you would just do one line at a time because you have to be like milliseconds out. And I went, no, this has to be, I have to do this all the way through. And we did the entire scene all the way through in 9 minutes, and everyone was like, that's the one. And then then the engineer went, it peaked on a particular thing because he didn't do the stuff on the gain on like one of the big cries. And everyone went, and I went, stop, everyone stop, because it was very emotional. I was already kind of in that scene, and I went, we're going to do it again now. We're going to start it, and we're just going to go, let's not talk about it, we're there. And then we ended up taking that one, and it worked really well. But that feeling of, oh my God, how can we correct this? I went, no, we don't correct it because we're there.
That's just experience, right? You just like, that's the thing that I think many new actors would not have the balls to do, and would be afraid to do because you might come across as rude. But what you're actually doing is saving everybody time.
Yes, I'm saving everyone, because a 9-minute scene with HMC and that kind of, that's a lot of time. Yeah. And I went, I think we're going to get the best results if we do it this way. And actually that was a lot of the skills that I took onto Expedition 33. Like, I first started in Expedition 33 before I was cast as Verso. I was helping out with exactly that, which was timings for how they were going to go and do some of the scenes with the mocap that had already been done in France, and how we were going to voice over that stuff. So I went in as a helper for them, and saying, so I did Gustav's, there's a very famous Lune Gustav scene that happened at the camp with, and that wasn't the original scene. I did the original one, which was they were in a cave somewhere else, and it was very, very different. And it was called the floating piano scene. And I remember doing a lot of the explosive Gustav stuff. He has more of a breakdown in that scene, and doing stuff for timing. So there is edit out there of me performing as Gustav, just for figuring out how it was going to work for British actors to come in and effectively, in a very small amount of time that they had, because they didn't have the budget to get Charlie Cox in for a long time. They didn't have the budget to get Andy Serkis in for a long time. So it was like, how can we most effectively use this process? And because of everything that I'd learned on Final Fantasy 16, they were like, Ben's a good guy. He can tell you how fast an actor's going to do it. And so I went in and I was very clear, and I said, I can do it at this speed, but I'm very good at it. So let's say that someone is going to be able to do this at 1.5 the time, what I take to do it. And they eventually chose their recording process based on their own feedback, how long it was taking me to do stuff. There's also stuff of me doing Monoko out there.
No way.
Stuff of me. They have files there of me practicing. I was terrible as Monoko.
No.
I was terrible as everyone other than Verso. But there's the Monoko Verso scene where they're talking about cutting hair in different hairstyles, and there's a version of Monoko where there's my voice.
That's crazy. Which I guess off of that, so the game that I've been writing, we're doing our next lot of VO in a couple of months, and I'm going to go in and watch the VO session, which is my first time getting to do that as a writer, and I'm pretty excited about it. Like it especially because I've written virtually all the cutscenes for this game. I'm very excited to actually get to be there as a writer and have some notes occasionally. And I think that maybe as time goes on, I would be interested in trying VO directing. But from both of your perspectives, what are your favorite things from a director? Like, what is it that you look for in any acting medium that you want in a director? Because I would say mine is I just like this. I mean, maybe everyone does. Just really need to feel like I have their trust. Like if I'm feeling a lot of anxiety from somebody else, then I will end up wanting to like try to help them more than I will think about whatever the character would want. And I think that could really fuck me up. I just need to be like, I know that I can trust that you have everything else together, and that we don't need to be worrying about a million things falling apart, because once a director feels anxious, I feel like then I can just feel that they're anxious, and then I want to solve problems. That's just who I am. So I need to know that I can trust them, and I guess that they can trust me. And I don't really know how you translate that, but what are things that you value in directors, or things that like you've worked with a director who's done something that you've especially really loved?
I think something that goes a long way with me is we don't always have this privilege, but hanging out with the director, having a coffee, having a chat on Zoom, having a dinner before you start this big long project, getting on the same page, getting that chemistry going, that, you know what I mean, that rapport. And that's how you can see. I mean, it's no different than maybe like dating. It's like you're going to spend 2 years with this person, and you want to know how they operate. You can ask them questions. I want them to ask me questions, and like, you know, emotional scenes, since we're on that topic, like, I like when you can say, like, listen, in the past, this is how I get there. And if we got to do scenes like this, I need quiet on set. You know, I can't have people joking. And you just like talk about how your process works. Right then and there, I'd established that I'm a very collaborative guy. Like, I'm not here, like, I don't want to butt heads with you. If we have disagreements, let's like figure this out. And I want to have a good project with you. And that goes a long way when a director's willing to do that. Again, you can't do that with your whole cast, but maybe your leads. You get to know how they are. You get to know their vibe, their energy, and that goes a long way. It sets
Getting to know someone.
It sets a good groundwork for a
great answer. Never
project.
Considered it. It makes perfect sense.
I hate it when I don't trust a director. I feel very unsafe. Actually, I hate it when I don't trust an engineer. They're more terrifying. An engineer who doesn't know what they're doing is who I don't trust and doesn't work in the way that I work or with the director. More disruptive than working with a bad director is working with a bad engineer.
That makes sense.
And because we got to go at speed. We've got to, like, this is not a slow process, and we understand that, like, we are dealing with thousands and thousands and thousands of lines that we've got to get through. And I think I have a good rapport. I know how to get on with most directors. There are some directors I don't like, and they're the ones that over-explain. They're the ones that add notes on notes on notes on notes.
I hate that too. How do you feel about that, Nick? Sorry to cut you off real quick, because I wondered if that might be an American versus British or Australian thing, because I also hate, except I'm like, just get to the point. Nick, do you prefer that people over-explain?
It really depends. I mean, there are sometimes, admittedly, that I don't understand what people are trying to tell me for direction, maybe, like, and maybe that's a poor direction. And I'm like, can you just spell it out? Just like talk to me like I know nothing. Like, sometimes I need that.
Yeah.
But then again, I like when a director gives ambiguous, I don't know what the terminology is. Ben, you might be able to help. Not result oriented, like, do it a little angrier. I like when a director says, like, you know what, just raise the stakes and, like, imagine like this happened in your life. Like, how would you feel? Go for it.
Tactics as well, like little kind of seeds, because one note or a change of perspective, actioning is really important. Like, try and caress her a little bit more, and that doesn't, or like try and coax or demand or something like that, and that can change the entire thing. Or like, on this moment, think about how this moment really makes you feel, and like a domino, that will just change the entire scene and the entire line.
Give them like ambiguous for the situation, like not in the context of the script, but give them visualization and say, imagine this, imagine a scenario. Has anything happened in your life like this? Put it in this next take. Like, give them things to think about in their own life. They will take their own experiences and put that filter on and hopefully get where you need to go.
Yep. Yeah. There's some directors that I've been working with recently who I love. And they work very differently from other directors who I also love. It's fun. It's fun to play in different sandboxes, because I think different projects require a different type of direction.
True.
And going back to Fortnite, like, I've worked with some brilliant directors on that. JB Blanc, who I work with a lot.
Oh, JB is a very specific type of director, and a director that type of director I'd never really worked with before.
And my first session, I was like, okay, this is different. And I felt like I wasn't getting what he wanted. And then I would say it just kind of clicked. And now we have a rapport of knowing what we want to get out of it, because he's essentially working as an ambassador for Epic. You know, he is a go-between between what the producers want, who might not be creatives, but know what the results that they want.
Yes.
JB knows what game we're making it for. And so I'd give a line about, this is how I want to do it. He'd go, it's not the game we're making it for, but that's not the game we're making. We're making this game. And I'm like, okay, cool. I understand now. And when we were working towards the finale event, this big thing where Jeno was going to be revealed, we did 50 different takes of those lines, and there's only like 5 lines, and we did so many takes because we were all in the room. We had the cinematics director there. We had every single person from that event was on that call.
That sounds like hell.
People. It was hell, but it wasn't hell because JB was the center of that, and he was the one who I was listening to. So they would give a note, and then I would ignore that note, and then JB would filter that and say to me, this is what we're going to do to get that.
That's also totally the right call of you, because I think that I, again, as someone much newer, would end up trying to include everybody's notes, and then you get fuck all.
It's hard.
Yeah.
So sometimes those people don't know what they want.
And they just want to say something. That's the problem with execs.
Yep.
They want to say something. But also one thing before we move on, because this is important for you if you're going to be directing, is really understanding that every actor works differently.
Yeah.
And like you're always going to, you have the way that you want to do things, but every single actor will respond differently.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. So early on in my career, I worked with this brilliant guy, Tom, really, really good cinematic performance director. He's phenomenal. He's a Shakespearean trained actor himself. Like he's had a career, okay? Big games. And he knew when I worked with him, I was a bit more green, didn't have as much of that like deep experience, the theater experience. I didn't have it. And he knew. He didn't belittle me. He knew he had to work with me and get that out of me. And so he just adjusted his directing style to me in ways that I would understand. And we had a lot of talks. We had a nice rapport. We had some dinners, and he just knew I was that type of guy. And he would tell me stories, literally tell me stories. And one of his directions was, it was a meeting of 2 people, and it had to have this kind of energy, this like nervous kind of energy. And he just told me a story, and he's like, hey, you ever see you ever be at the supermarket and you see your ex-girlfriend, and you're just picking apples, and you are not expecting to see your ex-girlfriend. It's a little awkward. You want to talk to her. You want to catch up. How's life? And it's that kind of like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I didn't expect. And he goes, let's do it. Let's take another take. And that he knew that I could respond to those visuals because he would tell stories that everyone has been through. And he's like, that's the energy I'm looking for this scene with these characters. It clicked, and I don't know if it would still work now, but you know what I mean? Like adapting to who's in front of you, like JB does. JB is.
So do you think asking people before you start a session how they like to be directed is the right call?
Nick and I are coming off experiences of working on kind of like projects over an extended period of time where you're building up a rapport with someone, you're getting to know them. Often it's like if you're doing a project, you come in and the director's going, we're doing this and we're doing it like this. And like, there's so many other things you have to take into it. For the purposes of video games, the chances are there's going to be 25 people who you're not even seeing, who are going to have an opinion on you, who actually have no creative bone in their body. And that's not a bad thing. That's just not their job. They're very effect orientated. And it's your job as a director to filter out what the producer wants.
Yeah, it's
right?
true. Protect it's so funny. And that like the job of a producer is to protect the director from the money people. The job of a director is to protect the actor from the producer.
It's gatekeepers.
It is professional gatekeepers.
And I have no interest in knowing how a producer feels about my performance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't really care.
Yeah.
I need to know what the director is giving me and trust that they are delivering it. The moment that I don't trust the director, and this did happen, like we did 16 for 4 years. I went through a couple of directors. There was a period in the middle where we'd lost our director, and we ended up picking up someone else. But in that middle period, I had a load of directors come in for a couple of sessions, and I hated it. And I was like, I'm the one, you're fucking up this character. You are a gun for hire in this scenario, sir. And you don't get it, and you're trying to come in here and reinvent the wheel. I'm going, this isn't the game we're making, dude. But he's decided he wants to put his own spin on it, and this is multiple people. It's
like an episode of TV director where it's like you still have to make the TV show, which I think is like also this has gone in so many interesting directions. But both of you, but especially you, Nick, with Leon, at what point you've played that character for a really long time now? At what point do you start feeling like more ownership that you would consider disagreeing with a director on something, because surely you know Leon better than anyone by now? Like, is there a point where you start feeling like, hey, I'm the department head of Leon, and do you get protective, and is there like drawbacks to feeling that way?
On our latest project, I will say that I do consider myself quite lucky, because I think my director understood that. And when we began this project, we sat down at the round table to talk about the project, talk about the characters. That very first meeting, I asked the main story producer, who I love, one of my favorite people at Capcom, and I said, talk to me. How do you guys envision Leon at this stage in his life? What direction do you want to take him? And he just looked at me, and it had to be translated, but he laughed and he goes, at this point, you probably know Leon better than I do. And he goes, what are your ideas?
Yeah, that's great.
That was the coolest thing I had ever heard out of that company, because I just felt that after all these years that they trust me, they know that I love the character. I would never do anything to harm his legacy. And so it was a really, really collaborative effort. And the director that I had, the performance director, she understood that. And she said, let's just shape the best version of Leon as we can. And I said, what I asked of her was, keep me honest. I said, as a dramatic director, I said, if you see something that's not coming off as honest, call me out, and let's just make this a really grounded, breathy performance. I would say
you're so good, dude. You're so like, if you watch the stream, it's just like me every line going, God, he's so good. Like, I love it so much. It's so fucking good. I'm so proud of you. You did such a good job.
But I felt very trusted, and it's a good feeling that they know that I care.
Yeah.
And I think the end product shows, and I think we all did a wonderful job together.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like probably like it's a bigger challenge, again, not that you didn't do an incredible job, but doing the ones you don't care about. That's got to be hard.
Yes.
Ben Starr will do anything for money.
I will do anything for money. I've actually got that T-shirt that I wore at the Summer Game Fest.
Incredible.
Can I show you this thing that I've got? Like, I did different versions of this T-shirt. It's going to take 10
Ben, you did say that you had an extra one for me.
I do have one for you. Yeah.
But Ben Starr will do anything for money. Oh my God, amazing! And he will. Look at him go.
That's funny.
Wow.
Okay, there were versions because I wasn't sure what I was going to wear. So there's the original ones.
Yep.
Incredible, beautiful. Yeah, stunning and brave.
There. And then there's more different styles, because I was like, I need different styles. So there's like different ones. And then there's this one.
Oh, I want one of those. Can I have one of those? Yeah. I'll swing by the JW
you can
right
have this
now.
One. You can have this one.
I'd love that.
So Jennifer English has one, which she wore around a Dave and Buster's.
Incredible.
We went and got very drunk and sang Away in a Manger to some random people in a 4-part harmony at a Dave and Buster's with her wearing this.
Incredible.
That story's absolutely insane. So that one's for you, Alana.
Yes. How long are you in town for?
Until like Wednesday.
Okay, great.
So you've got ages.
Oh shit, you're here for some time.
Let's do karaoke.
Yeah, I'll do some karaoke.
I'm gone tomorrow because I'm going to the World Cup. Australia, Egypt, Dallas. I'm very excited.
Oh my God.
But then I'm back.
I love the World Cup.
I'm so excited because Mo Salah is my favorite human on planet Earth. Since Carl Sagan, it's Carl Sagan, Mo Salah, right up there. One of them's it. But it's Australia versus Egypt, and he's an Egyptian player. So I'm really excited. But when I get back, karaoke.
Karaoke.
I'd love to. We should.
I'll sing some stuff.
That'd be sick. But yes, the what we were jumping off of there was the ones you don't care about. How do you fake it?
Well, you listen to the director. I mean, you ultimately you got to give the director what they want, and it's about making a little toolbox and figuring out how to get there, even if you manufacture it. Substitution helps me. If there's like a traumatic thing you got to go through, substitute it with something hard in your life.
Yeah.
I learned a lot early on reading books. I wasn't in classes when I first started. I was reading books, and certain lines just stuck with me, and they have influenced my acting since day one.
I'm also like a book person. I prefer learning from books, and obviously I'm talking to you guys. It's part of why I started this podcast, was I get to ask my smart friends questions. But I don't really learn very well from strangers. So reading's helping me a lot, and the one that I've been reading is called The Actor and the Target, and there's a lot about always knowing what you want and always knowing what the goal is, and that goal has to be a need, even if it's the most basic thing in the world. You have to need that glass of water, and that has to be all you think about. And I'm finding there's a lot of like sentences in that I'm writing down because I'm finding them so potent that I'm really enjoying the style of that. But there's some things that, like, the different schools of acting, I don't remember what they're both called, but some of them say a lot about finding your version of the thing. I don't know, how do I articulate this? So there's the one school of thought is, I have to have my daughter die in this. And I know that I can make myself cry because I tried to do it if I think about Banjo getting shot. If I think about him getting shot and I'm there, I can make myself cry right now. I'm there holding him. That will make me cry. But then there's the other version that suggests that if you need to think about something that's not happening in the scene, then you're almost selling the character short, and you need to just fully believe everything in that scene and be full-blown delusional. And I think I tend to prefer the full-blown delusional version where possible, in that the tap into your memory thing almost to me feels a little dangerous. There are things about that feel like you could really fuck yourself up.
I don't know. That's the strategy that I adhere to.
Gotcha. Yeah, there are two schools for sure, and I'm kind of undecided. Again, I know I can make myself cry if I think about Banjo getting shot. Gets me every time.
But also the reason I don't like, sometimes those books and in those schools that you go to, there was like, we're the right way. Don't do it like that. You do it like this, and I don't like that. People telling you how to do things. I manufacture real emotion for on camera stuff. Anytime you get a breakdown, have those hard scenes, I manufacture it, but that shit is fucking real. I'm not thinking about what's in the scene, but I'm substituting that person for this person in my life that did pass away, and I watched it. It's like, sure, is it dangerous?
Brutal,
I don't tell people to do it, but it works. It works for me.
I guess it's what works for you at the end of the day, huh?
Yeah, and everyone is going to tell you a different thing, because ultimately we're all trying to get to the same goal with a different fucking vehicle to get there. But as long as we all get there on time, it doesn't really matter. I think there is a level of generosity that you have to have, creative generosity. I'm always fascinated when you're working with someone, and often they go, "This is my method. I refuse to accept it." Like sometimes I'll change the way that I need to be, depending on who I'm working with at that particular point, be it the director or be it a scene partner. I think I've done a lot of like crying and in stuff. And I don't think I was thinking about anyone. I think what I've managed to do is, I'm so fortunate that this is the case, but I'm trying to break down what it is that I do. I think I just have access to, I know what sadness is. I'm like, oh, it's that. It's almost like I cut off the emotion and I've kind of like stored it somewhere, and I've kind of artificially created whatever that is. And I go, remember how you felt? Just feel like that again. And
that has to be a thing that you learned over time.
Completely, because I would have to feel like there were times when I did this thing for the BBC, and I had to. I'm really proud of it. It's a scene I did with Sophie Rundle, who's from Peaky Blinders. It's fucking great, and it's a scene where like she's basically saying, "I don't love you anymore," and I'm going, "That's no," and it's this sending me away, and I'm really proud of it because it's a big cry scene. It's a real beater, and I had to get there because I was imagining, ironically, the worst thing that could possibly happen to me, which is my dad dying. He did eventually, but not in that moment. But now I feel like I know what that emotion is, and I just have access to it. And I'm not imagining my dad dead.
No, I see what you mean.
I know what that feeling is. I know what overwhelming sadness is, and I kind of know how to kind of eke it out of me in that moment by superimposing those people, imagining my brother dying, right? Imagining me in the arms of my sister as this thing, whatever. Like, I know what that feeling is, and I'm trying to manufacture that without getting to a point where I'm having to think of the act of my dog dying.
So yeah, it's like you're almost channeling the feeling
Yes.
without actually visualizing it.
Yes, and that again comes from being very fucking lucky that I'm able to do that, and also I couldn't tell you how to do it. It's not a learned thing. It's not a learnable thing. It's an instinctual thing that I've managed to kind of pick up and shortcut over being asked to speedily be sad. If you wanted to right now, I could probably cry just because it's required, and I don't think that's an impressive thing to do as an actor. Some people might think that. I also don't think crying on camera or crying on cue is particularly impressive. I don't think it makes a good actor. I think more actors,
I agree with that.
I think better performance is the ability to withhold that and yet still make you feel that.
Yeah.
Like, me crying doesn't make someone else cry. It's the ability to make someone else feel something that's more powerful. So if you can do that without doing all the weepy stuff yourself, which is equally impressive, it is something. That's something.
I'm so sure I would have said this before, but I find with men, especially from watching a lot of documentaries, Rahul pulls a lot of just character and emotion stuff from documentaries. You see really raw emotions, and it is really interesting to watch. But there's something so much more heartbreaking about a man trying not to cry than a man crying. You watch like a dad in a documentary about his kid dying, sitting there and trying, and like the look on his face is so much more painful. But I also think, obviously, no hot take here, but that conversation between Al Pacino and Robert De Niro in Heat, where they're at the diner and they're having that talk with each other, there's this one part where I think De Niro's line is something along the lines of like, if you're going to keep coming at me, then I'm going to keep coming at you. But you watch, he doesn't reply for like 10 seconds, kind of like you were saying earlier with Jack Nicholson, but you watch his face go, okay, I received the information. Oh, he's threatening me. Oh, he thinks he can fucking threaten me? You can't threaten me. And you watch his face go through all of those things, just like these tiny little things while he's taking the moment to respond, that I'm like, that's what fucking acting is. It's so good.
And I guarantee you he was not pre-planning his things. He's not like, okay, in between that line, I'm going to give a little eye twitch. He's not thinking that. What I always say, and I always said it, already said it, was if you are thinking the right thing, your body will act accordingly.
Yeah.
And you'll do the most interesting things that the camera will pick up. You do not have to think about it. You only have to think about what your character is thinking.
Yeah.
Like really, really listen to the stimulus coming in. Listen to it. What does that fucking mean to you? And then respond with your next line. But you should have an internal line going on, because in human interaction, subtext is rich. If we all spoke our subtext, relationships would be a lot fucking different. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really want to be here right now, but I'm just here because you're friends. But
yeah, exactly.
No, you know what I mean? Is like
loud.
Subtext is fucking loud with your body language. And that was the most brilliant piece of advice I had as an early actor.
A really great, I know you just mentioned it, but the Heat scene, it's an incredible scene, because obviously this is Pacino and De Niro together for one of the first times since The Godfather. I mean, they're not really together in The Godfather, but on screen, first time, everyone's wanted to see it. And so Michael Mann, like, who do you shoot first? So you don't. So it's cross shot. They're shot at exactly the same time. It's not they shot one and then shot another on the back. What you're seeing is them acting together in that moment, reacting to each other. And that's why that scene is dynamite, because you don't just go, okay, right, we're going to shoot Bobby first, and then we're going to, nope, you
not
go,
those
you
two.
go.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss anything. So you're like, bam, like camera, we're going to set it up. So we're going to act it like it's a play. And I think that's why you're getting absolute gold in that, because you just, good. Yeah. Go and watch Heat, guys.
Watch Heat.
I can't believe they're making a sequel.
I know, Jesus Christ.
What a dumb thing to do.
But yeah, on that of like the not pre-planning thing, that's also definitely something that I learned from the books is I actually was devastatingly recast. I had this movie that I was supposed to be in this month, but they had to change the date, and it was while I was away. And I knew all my lines. Like, you fucking son of a bitch. I was one day off of flying home, and they had to recast me because they had to change the date. Devastating. But I was learning my lines while we were on the cruise that I was on, and I kept thinking, well, maybe if I did, or like, would I do this or act this way? And then the books kept being like, don't do any of that. Don't pre-plan your actions. Then even if they're like the most well thought through, like facial expressions, and you've thought through why you're doing them, they're disingenuous. And what you're thinking about actively is the shit that you rehearsed and not the actual emotion. And that was a really interesting one too, that I would say I only learned like a month ago, of like, don't pre-plan your frown. And I think that comes across like this, won't name them, but like a very famous actress right now who I keep seeing do that, where you see her frown because it seems like the right time to frown, and thus it just comes across as not real. Like, you
happens all the time.
You did that because you felt like you should frown, not because you were actually frowning. It's that again, all this stuff seems so simple, but it's not. The question I was going to ask, if I can, before we go, because we've covered every other angle of this, is what do you like in other actors? What's your favorite thing to get from another actor?
Authenticity. Jeez. When you get someone across from you spitting you some raw emotion that will take you in places you weren't expecting.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, I've been fortunate to work with some really good actors, and I will pull them aside after that, and I'll be like, bro, that was real. Like, I felt something from that you can't buy, you know?
That makes sense, because then you can just get lost in the emotion they're feeding, and then you just feed each other. That totally makes sense.
What about you, Ben?
Yeah.
It kind of ties into what you said, Nick, really. I don't want another actor. A level of generosity. And that generosity can manifest in so many different ways. It can be knowing when to really engage with that scene partner, or knowing when to not, understanding what their needs are. And like, I don't like actors that dominate scenes against the other actor's will. You know, and I think that actually all scenes have dominant characters and lesser characters in those particular moments. Who is the scene serving? What is the scene serving in that moment? But I think there are some actors that want to come in and just be the main character every single scene, and I hate that in a performer. Actually, I think it's really quite a grotesque thing.
Why would anyone like that?
There are so many actors who want to be, there's so many actors who give main character energy to minor characters, and you're like, babe, this ain't about you. And I'm a very, as much as I might come across as a very like dominant person sometimes, I will always yield the floor to someone more dominant than me if they're in that. I will do the beta sort of thing, and allow them to flex their muscles, because ultimately they'll look like a fucking idiot when they do it. But like, I find that a lot. And so I've worked with some of the best actors I've ever worked with, some of the most generous actors I've ever seen. And I've learned so much from them, because I'm just fucking this is crazy. I love an unpredictable actor. I love an actor that's going to do something fucking weird, and you're going, that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen, and that's amazing.
I like that too.
And you're going, oh my God, I'd never even thought that was possible. I didn't have permission to do that. And then a lot of my things are like, I'm like a little magpie I've just stolen from actors that I've experienced. I'm like, my God, that's brilliant. And it'll be one thing I've taken on to
I call myself a knowledge goblin, or I'll steal everybody's knowledge at all times, and it makes, I think that's how you learn. Knowledge goblin.
Yeah. I steal everything by Ashley Birch. I've never met Ashley. I've never spoken to Ashley Birch, but her work on Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West, I think, is a treasure trove for actors. You should go there and understand it. Aloy is not a character that many people would put on the pantheon of great characters, very important characters, but I think Aloy gets a lot of flack because of, some might see, like, lack of character development, the way that they're produced. But as an actor and a performer, I would say go and watch Ashley's work in Horizon, because she has to do everything. Yeah, in Forbidden West, she speaks too much, but fuck me, she sells it. And I think it's a remarkable performance of actually Aloy stepping back. Aloy is a cipher to experience the world post-apocalypse. And I think understanding like how to be a great protagonist is, you should really, really study what Ashley does in the Horizon series. It's really, really special.
I'll check those out.
Great note. Nick, what are you up to? Where can people find you?
I was housing. You can find me online. Instagram is where I'm probably most active with my career. Nick_APOS. And you can find me floating around LA when I'm here, building wood projects and acting occasionally.
Hell yeah. Ben, what about you? What are you up to? Where can people find you?
Similar thing. I'm on the same handle as Nick. You know, we just share.
You share it. You're his manager.
Yes, we do.
I've got a game coming out in August that I'd like people to play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really proud of it. It's called Ledger Bound, and it's a fantasy RPG. Who'd have thunk?
You?
With some amazing performers in it. Matthew Mercer is in it.
Love him. We should have Matt on the show actually sometime.
We should get Matt on
He's
the
the
show.
best.
Actually, maybe to shill some Ledger Bound next time.
Yeah, happy to.
It's a really very, very small team. One of the lead writers from Helldivers 2 wrote this very very, very fun game about a group of heroes who at the beginning of the game go to fight the big evil bad and get completely wiped out and destroyed. And you play as a person who works for the insurance company who has to audit that, and he has to go and go through all the steps.
Oh, what a great idea.
In order to prove that the big bad could be defeated and they don't have to pay out the life insurance.
That's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
And it is so funny, and it's done from the perspective of like very book talky, fantasy, romantasy style. So you can romance.
Sometimes I
all of the
hear an
companions.
idea and I go, "Fuck, that's smart. Fuck you." And that's one of those where I'm like, "That's so fucking smart." What a good idea.
The writing is sharp.
Damn.
And I said yes to it because I went, "This is great." And I play a sexy character called Kazian, who is evil, and he spends the first kind of couple of acts in chains.
Incredible.
And there's a lot of it's probably the most not safe for work stuff I've ever done.
Great.
You can romance everyone in that game, and it's really
Giving the people what they want. Yeah, I've not heard of it.
What I want.
Very good to know. I'll ask Matt. He might be down. He's been on this show before as like a one-on-one interview that I did with him. And he's a wonderful human. That would be awesome.
That's funny.
Closing note is I am doing breathy in these auditions. And I should not feel stupid about it.
And maybe a second take if you really feel silly.
All right.
Don't breathe on one take. Go.
Yeah, okay, just see how it goes. Great. All right. Thank you for joining me, you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Much love.